All right, y'all. Welcome back to Final Boss Auto Hub, and today we're gonna have a fire conversation. And the conversation is about the pending merger that we all been hearing about. Uh, Basically, as you know, Honda and Nissan is officially in talks to have a merger, and they're saying the merger should be completed around 2026. I believe they're going to be taking 2025 to pretty much talk about the logistics, the strategy that they're hoping to go about, who's going to be in leadership positions, and all of the political things that they have to complete to make sure that this merger is done by 2026. You basically have Nissan, Honda, and Mitsubishi all agreeing to join as one Japanese auto manufacturer. This will make them the third largest auto manufacturer in the world, behind Volkswagen. And I think this is kind of different. Let's continue to explore into it. I mean, the motivation behind this merger, from what we're hearing from some of the executives in Nissan and Honda, is to pretty much combine resources, expertise in a rapidly evolving market. And basically, the reports are saying that the partnership is seeking to cut costs and accelerate progress in the EV sector, in which they feel that Japanese auto manufacturers are kind of behind the eight ball with. Um, Honestly, I never thought I would see the day where you have three of the most known Japanese auto manufacturers deciding to combine as one auto manufacturer. And remember, these folks used to go at each other. They used to push each other to the limits. You probably, might have heard some of this information from my previous video on Nissan, when this news started to break out that they're going into bankruptcy. But you had Mitsubishi that was, releasing the Evo, and that was a car competing with Subaru's WRX. And then you have Nissan doing the 300s, the 240s. You have Hondas with the S2000s, the Integra, the Legend, and the Sex. So, the more that you go into it, like, these three manufacturers have some real deep, rich history when it comes to pushing the auto world to another level, especially in the Japanese domestic sector, for the most part, when it was competing against each other. My opinion about this, honestly, I don't know. I don't know where this can go. To keep it real with you, I have no idea. This could be a good thing, or this could be a bad thing. Some pros that I kind of came across in my mind, what I was thinking about is, Honda could help Nissan figure out their product line. They can pretty much, open up their books, see where they're failing at, see what product lines make sense, and pretty much help them, decide what cars they should continue selling, and what sector they should pretty much stay in to be a more profitable company. Honda's pretty much good at that. They've always been safe over the last 20 years or so with their choices of what products they're going to sell, especially, as you know, they kind of scaled back their sport car kind of, how can I say, history, to produce more family friendly and people friendly cars, like the Honda Accord, the Honda Odyssey, the CRV, the Pilot. They pretty much went into the sector where they felt like they could make the most money and appeal to most people, and they kind of went away from, the Integras, the Legends, the, how can I say, even some of the sporty Civics at one point. They started to go away from that. So I believe Honda do have a knack for, pretty much figuring out what market they can sell cars in, and I feel like they can help Nissan with that. So that's definitely a pro. Um, as I said before, they can probably help them with their books, get that straightened out, mitigate some of the spending in areas that they can save, without cutting, without really affecting their products. They can pretty much see where they can save dollars at. As I said, Honda is a very conservative company. They could possibly share technology with each other. I can see Honda definitely helping Nissan with their reliability issues. If you know anything about Nissan's history, they used to be up there with their reliability, up there with Toyota and Honda, top three. Over the last 2 decades, that's definitely dropped. But I feel like Honda can definitely help them with the reliability issues and share some tech about how to do that and how to go about it and how to make sure their cars, last a little bit longer, and build up their reputation back in the reliability sector. I feel like Nissan could possibly share some of their V6 twin turbo technology. Nissan is known to always build a big fire V6 that's potent and powerful, normally reliable. So I feel like Nissan could probably share that with Honda. I think Honda has gotten away from their sport heritage, and I feel like Nissan gives them that edginess that they need. So they could possibly do that, or vice versa. Because Acura, which is a part of Honda, if you know anything about that, they have a really good uh, twin scroll V6 that they use in the Acura TLX S type, and they're putting in the MDS S type, and those are pretty quick, and they're very reliable. So who knows? Maybe they can share that platform with Nissan, and maybe they can put it in a new Q50 redesign or a new Maxima or something, and kind of bolster up the line a little bit. And Nissan could add their touches to make it a little bit faster, because they're a little bit more edgier than Honda. But who knows? I feel like vice versa, they can share some technology regarding some of their engines. There's a lot of pros here. Of course, the merger will help them, stay alive and help Nissan continue to push the limits of developing cars that we love. They could also help Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi kind of been on the back burner. They stopped producing Evolutions in a lot of their cars, and maybe have like 2 or 3 cars on their product line, which is predominantly, crossover and SUV type trucks. So who knows? Maybe this can push Mitsubishi to get back rolling and developing more cars, and maybe even come back with a sport car. I think a new Evo right now would do some damage, especially since it's just the Subaru that's left. So, who knows? I think there's a lot of pros here. There's also some cons. And some of the cons is predominantly Honda could lead Nissan to, possibly start producing ugly ass cars. There's no rumor, there's no news that Honda does not produce the most best looking cars, especially over the last maybe 5-6 years. I think at one point the previous generation Honda was nice. It kind of looked like a fake Audi A7, and and then eventually they bring out this new generation one that's just like terrible. I don't know why they would even produce that. But the previous generation, the last 2 generation Honda Accords were pretty good, even the Civics. But as of recent, over the last 3-4 years, it hasn't been so great. So that can possibly affect Nissan's design language, depending on how much of a hold Honda wants to have over Nissan. The only decent looking cars Honda have produced over the last 3-4 years is the TLX, the Integra, and the MDX. The MDX is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And that's it. Everything else is kind of ugly. I'm sorry, but that's a con right there. Who knows how much of a hand that Honda will have in Nissan's product line when the ball starts to get rolling. They can possibly cut a lot of vehicles that Nissan's producing. They can probably make them a more conservative vehicle line as well, which is a con. I think Nissan always been a little bit edgy. They always had that edge to them. They used to model the 4-door sports car with the Maximas. So who knows what Honda might do? Maybe try to get them to use a 4-cylinder and a Maxima if they decide to keep that. And they can have a lot of effects on their product line as well. That's a little bit more what we're not accustomed to with Nissan. So I'm not too sure. Are there other cons? I'm sure there are. There's probably some other cons that I can't think of at the moment, but those are the 2 to 3 cons and pros that come to my mind at this point in time. Now, I'm very optimistic. For one, if you looked at my last video, those of you who watched it, thank you. But if you looked at my last video, I was very passionate about what Nissan has done for the car community. It made, broke guys like us able to buy a nice little car, soup it up, mod it out, look good. Even a Maxima, as I said, it's not, how can I say, it's not luxury, but you have a Maxima compared to a Accord and a Camry, you was doing something. So I'm glad that, we don't have to worry about Nissan going out of business. I'm really optimistic about how that's going to go and where that's going to lead us. But who knows, maybe we'll get another GTR with some of Acura's technology in it, which to me might be fire if they're not using the 4-cylinder. Might be fire. Make the Nissan, even though the GTR has always been pretty much reliable, it's the guys that that buy it and try to mod it out and soup it up and do all kinds of stuff that break it ultimately. But the GTR is normally known to be pretty reliable. But imagine with a GTR with some of Honda's technology. You know what I mean? I think that might be fire. Or imagine an Acura NSX with some of Nissan's technology. Woo! That's going to be a killer. So I'm very optimistic about what this means and what the future of these companies are going to go. I mean, it kind of makes sense because especially with all the changes in the auto world in terms of every country is pushing EVs, and now that you have the manufacturers kind of rebelling because they realize they can't make any money and it takes a lot of material to produce one EV car. So them combining their resources and forming one group and releasing cars together, definitely help to save the companies that we love. And let's see where we go from there. I just think we're in a funny place in the auto world right now. Hopefully, over the next 5 to 10 years, some of these things sorts out. I do think we can have a happy medium between combustible cars and EV cars. We've been hearing some rumblings about hydrogen cars. Let's see where we go from there in a couple of years. But I don't want combustible cars to go away. Now, if that means playing with the emissions a little bit, that's fine, but some of us love the natural engine sounds, the spirit, the enthusiasm that the cars give us when we drive. The EV cars don't do that. I don't care how much sound you pump on these new Dodge Chargers and Porsches and Porsche Taycans and Audi e-tron. It doesn't give the same emotion, But either way, I think this is a good thing for Nissan, Honda, and Mitsubishi. I'm hoping they can revive some of the cars that we love. I'm hoping that they do it justice if they do it. And I think if you guys start producing cars that we love, people are going to buy it. People are going to buy it and make them somewhat affordable. You can't sell me a Honda Civic for 50 grand. Excuse me, a Honda Acura Integra for 50 to 60 something $1,000, which is just a dressed up Civic.
What the fuck?
Come on, man. Yeah, it looks nice. The design language is fire on the Integra, but you can't sell me an Integra for almost 60 grand. That's outrageous. And then the TLX is in the same ballpark and same horsepower. Like, come on, y'all gotta differentiate your lines and make it a difference. If I get TLX Type S, it should be faster than an Integra. If I get an Integra, I know what I got. If I want something that's fast, but petite and can go anywhere, super, athletic and agile, So either way, I'm done with my rambling. Let me get off my soapbox. Let's see where it goes. I'm going to be here dropping some reaction videos every time we get some news about this, but I'm excited. And I hope, Honda, Nissan, Mitsubishi do themselves and their reps some justice and show these American automakers and these German automakers like how JDM does it. You feel me? All right, y'all. Final Boss Auto is out. Thank you for listening and watching again. I appreciate it. And we got more stuff coming. I have another video that I need to drop. I keep playing, but I'll drop it soon. All right, y'all.